or therapies one is already subject to.
Innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge. In a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GANS plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balance fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 381st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department, part of the Public Teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today, along with Dean at the Keshe Foundation TV studio. And we are here to present the teachings of Mr. Keshe and his presentation in this workshop. So I believe we're ready to begin today's workshop. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you there?
Yes. Good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of Keshe Foundation worldwide. We welcome you back to another session of learning from each other and elevating the soul of the man and the knowledge of the man. We are learning new ways to elevate, and at the same time, we are learning new ways to see how we can connect physically and in other ways through our emotion and different dimensions in the realm of the creator and the creation. Today we have some announcements to make, and gradually we build it up to what is the normal teaching for us. We have an announcement to make, And this announcement is another step for the Keshe Foundation worldwide to reach the goals of not only creating the conditions for knowledge seekers who know about the knowledge, but in the long term, helping and setting up a new standards and levels for humanity in different nations and conditions. That we start interacting and bringing the technology to common man on the street and changing from what we call grassroots. Today, we are proud to announce the signing of one of the largest Keshe Foundation manufacturing systems up to now. Rick, could you please play the videos if you have it there, please? Yesterday, Keshe Foundation, after long-term negotiation over 2 years, 3 years, in China, we have signed and taken over the largest manufacturing base for Keshe Foundation in China. The new factory, which is about 70,000 square meter, is handed over to Keshe Foundation as of yesterday. And this factory becomes the flagship of the Keshe Foundation worldwide from China. It is one of the most prestigious factories in the, what we call our catalogs of the Keshe Foundation worldwide. We thank the Chinese team, especially Wang Lin, Chao, and the rest of the team, Xiaojin and Chanin, that they supported to bring this into reality. This factory sits in the heart of the Chinese, what we call ceramic and tea production, and it will start be equipped from next month. We have already started transferring the funds for the factory to be set up. It's a large commitment on 9 floors, more or less, levels, and each floor, each section, 8 of them is 2,000 square meter, and each one, 2,000 square meter, will be engaged in specific jobs for the foundation: gas production, research center, space technology development, bringing China in line with Iran as part of CEBRO. 1 floor of this structure is specifically designed to bring the space travel, what we call technology, reachable by the nation of China in conjunction with the Iranian space program. This factory will become one of the flagships of the Keshe Foundation. And with it, we employ large number of people. This is in a position that we can expand to the new buildings across in the same industrial zone. And this allows us to bring Keshe Foundation where we want it. This is more or less the first base in producing the fuel, the life cycle, and the space travel feasible, and part of what we call joint collaboration between the Iranian operation of the Keshe Foundation and the Chinese into bringing CEBRO into life. This becomes the center of the space development as part of the Chinese CEBRO organization of the Keshe Foundation. In so many ways, this is the next step for us. And as we said, Keshe Foundation, with the permission of the Chinese authorities, has set up one of the largest, what we call, research and development companies in China, which allows us to carry on with our work. We thank the Chinese authorities, we thank the Chinese leadership for allowing this step to be taken. You will see this flagship building will become where we concentrate the first flight system in the next 12 months in conjunction and collaboration between the 2 nations of Iran and China. And then the headquarters of the same operation you will see very soon in Tehran. We have started the process, and the offices of the Keshe Foundation and Research will be much more prestigious than this, as it's been allowed and will announce in the coming time through Tehran. We have set out to bring the change, And the time we have taken to do this has brought us to a new dimension. This needs vast amount of investment, not in financial part, but in the process of all of us being able to be part of the new generation of changes. Keshe Foundation, China, in next few days, will make an announcement inviting the Chinese community to join us to develop this center in China. If you're a knowledge seeker anywhere in China, in the next few days, there will be an announcement made by your group to join and become part of the establishment of the Keshe Foundation, that we can support the development and the spread of the technology in China. We estimate on a 3-shift basis in this center, we'll need something over 1,000 plus Chinese knowledge seekers. The process of the employment will start in June, but everything is coordinated through the Keshe Foundation and the factory, with the full collaboration and cooperation of the Chinese Keshe Foundation, and the setup that they have arranged and will arrange for recruiting this number. Where we are is where the Silk Road started. Chinese officials took us to this city some 3 years ago plus, that they wanted the main center, the first center, to be here. This is where the first China found on bus brought into the rest of the world on the back of donkeys. This is the city and the area where the first China plates were put on the back of the donkeys and were taken across the Silk Road, the start of the Silk Road, where China came to know to all of us. So the reason for the Chinese officials taking us to his area was part of the structure of the thinking of His Eminence President Xi of China, that the beginning of the Silk Road, as we know, it has taken a beautiful direction, and in that process, again, we brought the mother technology to where the first trading line of the Silk Road started. In so many ways, it's hard work. It's the beginning of the establishment of factories which can support the space technology in a way to put all of us in space. I see in this factory where the first, what we call launching systems on the upper floors of this factory in next few months will be developed, where Keshe Foundation, in conjunction with the scientists from Chinese space organizations, will gather in this area to make it the new space center. The beauty with this, and why we have chosen this position in conjunction with the promotion for the Chinese officials, this is that more or less a space center where Chinese develop their military space hardware. So we are in the right place, not only for ceramic, but in the development of the aircrafts and everything else. Part of this city, if you always see test flights passing over when the Chinese test their latest aircraft systems or helicopters for the Chinese defense. We're going to replace this in a way with the new space flight systems. And this is the objectives of the Keshe Foundation. And in the coming weeks, as I return to Iran, this headquarters of the Keshe Foundation in China, in producing the systems, will become the backbone of the collaboration between the two nations to take mankind into space within the next 12 months. Now we have set up and we are endeavoring to go to the next step. The funding to set this up is on commitment to bringing Keshe Foundation, supporting itself to build it up in conjunction with governments. Now we become a joint collaboration between nations in what we call space technology. This center is not anymore that we have a guess we want to do. We have started with the Chinese, that they come to us to say, for example, there is such and such a problem. They pay the Keshe Foundation for research and development of a solution for the problem. This becomes the pattern which we wanted to do. It's past the time that we used to test cancers and we say it does this and that. We've done enough now that the governmental organizations, the private organizations will come to the Keshe Foundation that we have this problem, we are prepared to pay for the solution, find a solution. And we already have started this path with the Chinese. Be it in agriculture, be it in food, be it in new production. The beauty with this center is that it's in the heart of the ceramic, China ware. This is not where you see the mass production of millions of plates. This is the center for the artisans. There are over 100,000 potters in this area. Each one has its own technique, has its own beauty, and we have established this place that we can supply these, and very soon, in the next most probably 3 months, all these cups and things which we make handmade in Austria, where you take for diabetic or blood pressure or corona, or whatever else these cups start coming out with, it will be manufactured in this area, in these factories of the Keshe Foundation. We'll go into mass production that will change the course. The latest, what we call Keshe Foundation farming systems will be built in this factory and distributed around the world. The enhancement units of the Keshe Foundation, the large body enhancements, will be assembled and completed in this factory and will be sent across the world. We are in a good position, as you saw maybe in one of the videos, that we are in a new industrial development area. So we can extend these buildings across this road you saw. These buildings are all available to be extended. My plan, with the help of the Chinese authorities and the Iranian officials, as we're talking in the background, is to make this area the space center of China. The system, the buildings are getting built brand new in a way as we have Silicon Valley, we have the Space Valley of China, starting from this point. It is part of our work to bring the nations together through science and technology, through understanding the next phase of the development for all of us. It is not all the time teaching about the soul. We have to help man on every daily basis. And this new development which Chinese allows us to do, we have not put hand out to no government up to now that they could dictate the condition and the teaching and the work of the Keshe Foundation. We will stay the same. Knowledge seekers and Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers are there to support in every shape or form. And now we achieved to this point. We are not looking for handouts. We are looking for support to bring scientists together, to bring the next level of the development for all of us. We are trying to bring the Chinese, the Iranians, the American, the British, the Italian, the Brazilian scientists into this research center. 1, maybe 2 floors of this building is specifically categorized for space research development. If you're a knowledge seeker and you developed and you are going to develop new technologies in the space technology and you're looking for opportunity, the Keshe Foundation Center is now here. Mexico has come into operation. Arizona is on standby to receive its systems. In Tehran, Keshe Foundation structure is getting set up in a much larger scale than in China. So we are becoming as part of the same structure. As I promised to the Iranian officials, within 12 months from my return to Tehran, we put man on Mars. We put man beyond the reach of the present technology. As we heard, the scientists in advanced technology of China this week landed a craft on Mars. 7 months of travel, unmanned. as we understand the new technology with the new crafts, being able to create magnetic field barriers, being able to tune in a gravitational magnetic field of the Mars, understanding the heartbeat of the Mars itself, which is what we call the love affair of universe system. We create the heartbeat of the Mars. We create the magnetic field strength of the Mars. And we see these space travels to become in fractions, maybe less than 1 hour to Mars, and much, much faster in the future. There is a lot of development to come in. We see how much we can cross this barrier. We see new research papers coming from different institutes and organizations around the world who have started to understand the work and what we call interaction of the fields of the plasma. We've seen new papers in plasma technology being published by leading universities around the world in how the fields interact. These are the new technologies which the Keshe Foundation will collaborate with to bring our knowledge, where we can develop simple systems for these researchers to develop very fast. In a way, we have entered and we have put the first foundations as the headquarters of what we promised you, the Cebu to start. The basis for setting up of the Cebu in Tehran with the help of the Tehran Keshe Foundation office has already started. Companies and the structures for this to be operational in Tehran has already started with the Keshe Foundation in Iran, and these become joint collaborations. And we see you knowledge seekers not just to be making ganses, but trying to take the technology a step further, that we start producing food, we start producing energies of food, we start producing interaction of the fields. What we call ganses of ganses to make, now we have to make field of the ganses. This technology I will teach in the space centers, that is essential to be understood. Now we have to go to step further, in a way to opening the plasma, to understand when we open the ganses, how ganses become a spectrum of the fields that we decide which one we take. When in the present science we work with our systems, we have a very different understanding of the totality. In the science and the space of the plasma technology of today, we speak about ganses. We speak about the magnetic field of ganses, but we have never understood the totality and the way they work. When we have a gas, we look at a little white ball sitting in the place. But if we really look at that little white ball as a drop of a gas, as a single molecular gas structure, we see the fields which comes out of it. And in so many ways, these fields are not the same. And in the coming time, we will teach you how to take each one of these fields and what each one means, and how you can elevate and evaluate, how to replicate, how each one of these inside, in itself, by itself, become a heartbeat of itself. And the combination of each one of these heartbeats gives the heartbeat of the system. In the coming time, you need one GANS to be able to reach the whole of the universe and unicos. When the knowledge of the man increases, you don't need to have 100 gram or 10 milliliters of a GANS. Each GANS in each strength, and each strength links itself to a position and to a dimension. And this is for us to develop, to understand. Each GANS is the key to process to one point in the universe. If you remember, I explained to you last week about how we put the dough through different systems and it became like a spaghetti, how it became weaker and weaker, or stronger or more of. If you remember the process, you got to remember each one of these ends up in one place or the other. And this is what I say to you, that one GANs has the strength to take man across anywhere in the universe and the unicos. And if we find that elusive light of the Creator, the strength of his line of understanding and generosity, will find a path directly to the Creator. It takes one GANs to take man to the whole dominion of the creation and the Creator. It's the man who has to extend his knowledge. It's the man who has to understand the process. You understand this in a very simple way if you go back to where we used to put magnets. I think Rick has this video somewhere. He loves this one, I know. And then we see that how one single magnet in the center, in positioning it, makes the rest to move to a new position and dimension. And in a way, some move forward, some move backwards, but all they adjust themselves in one way or another. In a way, if you look at it, the GANs itself is radiating different strengths of the fields, and in that process makes connection. This one connects with the strength of this, while this one in it has the strength with this one, and maybe in so many ways this connects to this one. But this time when they come in, they adjust to the new position. So in a way, if you look at it, there is no difference between a magnet and what we showed before. Look at the two and you understand the same. You have seen this in a physical dimension in the world of the man. Now you have to learn the same thing exists in the dimension of the GANs. Because for that GANs to be in that position in the cup, it has to have the collection of the fields, not only with all the GANs in that cup, but in totality, the every other things which is created within the structure. Now, the only difference is you have to mentally envisage or mentally understand that here you don't with the state of the matter. Here you don't with the state of the GANs. Here both for you is understandable because the both can be visualized. But what happened now? If I show you a whiteboard. On this whiteboard, you see nothing. But this whiteboard, in the background, is an ocean of fields. Man has got to learn and has come to be forced to learn that what can I feel with the emotion of the fields on this whiteboard? Do I need to see it to believe it, or I'm aware of its existence? Even the existence of this whiteboard, as you see it, is a confirmation of existence of fields. It's you who have restricted yourself to visuality. In the coming time, mankind in a space will face this. Where is this? What is on this board? Is there a field on it? And what is strength field? I don't need to see. How many of you have managed to see the field of a magnet in your hand, but you feel the forces of it when you bring it close to a metal, when you bring it close to another field balance interaction entity? It could be a magnet or anything else. But you know it's a magnet. I carry it in my hand, and if it comes across a metal or a magnet, suddenly out of nowhere, I just know there is something. Now mankind has to become to trust this. Something you don't see. But we could feel the heat. We can feel the touch. We can smell the odor of the air. And now mankind, through the strength of the soul and understanding of it, has to develop a new sense of fields of the creation, which man never sees up to now. But we have to strengthen this within the structure of the soul of the man, which is in the plasma condition in a much looser state, to be able to feel this. I feel the emotion of my son. I feel the need of my father who died years ago, but his soul is present. I feel the strength of the planet Mars, or on the other end, I want to be in planet Zeus. We cannot always develop machineries that we can carry. Man in a space has no hands and no arms when it travels the dimension of the soul. Where do you want to hide your meter or your detector? And secondly, if a machine can detect the fields, your brain and your soul, which is in a much more advanced stage, how come it misses it? Mankind will be taught how to filter field strength in understanding what is a heartbeat, what is the connection to, and what is the collaboration between different fields. What happens when this and this interact together, and in the dimension and things at this point, I'll see my son on Mars. I connect to him, to the position and the condition. In a way, when mankind leads and understands the interaction of these, will create a three-dimensional field, emotion and understanding and strength. Then you can see your father talking to your son on planet Zeus or on planet Mars, and you understand what the soul has decided. Baba used to be a very naughty boy. The father says to the son, take the soul to such a place, he'll learn from it where he's made his mistakes. And then you say, oh, by accident I came and I found this and I learned something from it. But it's not in the background of your thought that the soul of the father, the son, and the planet Mars brought you to that position. You just carry the physicality to it, or the same as what we saw here, you position according to. This is the process of the teaching, which in the coming time, we allow it and we teach it to be developed, that the mankind chooses the walk, the donkey, the jet, the UFO, or travel in the dimension of the fields of the universe, what you call the strength of the soul of the creator and the connection to the soul of the man. In a way, I like to go for a walk. But in my walking, I want to be close to my son and to my father on planet Zeus, where I allow the extension of the soul of me to be in connection in my walks with the whole structure, where my physicality is still walking in the physical body of the man on Everest. But I think I'm closest to the creator, but in fact, I'm rotating like a spinner at high speeds, and my soul continuously has to find out how to tune to everything. In a way, once we connect the lines, we are part of the totality of the structure. In a way, the new space plasma technology is about the life of the man in the universe, not just the gas in the cup. As I said, you take from this technology according to your knowledge, according to your understanding of the what we call the totality of the creation, and what is for you, part of you, to be in you and within you. In so many ways, we have entered and we are entering a new levels of development. The process for us is not just to make gold and be happy. The process for us is not just to be a Magrath system and be happy. These things for us was in a way a sweetener, a catch, a point where we could bring the attention of the man is so physical to be attracted to the knowledge of the creator. In a way, as we say, we set out and put out the bait to see who bites and how much of that bite they want to take and how much of that cake they want to eat. The cake of the knowledge is limitless, and it depends what is sweet to you and what is the purpose of that piece of cake that you take from the knowledge of the creator. Some are happy with the crumbs of the knowledge and they claim the totality, and some are given the cake of the knowledge in totality and they stand back and they share with those, and they make it even into crumbs that more people, according to their understanding, can take different sizes of the crumbs, but everybody has a piece of it. In a way, that piece is with us. We call it the soul of the man, but it's us to decide how much of the cake we want to add, but we share all the time. As I always said, when you stop sharing, you stop learning, you stop receiving. In so many ways, thou shalt not steal. And this means not just the wealth, but you cannot steal by stop teaching the others, because then you have stolen from them to learn, to be able to become, to find a new position in the structure of the what we call their souls in the realm of the creation and the creator. In the coming days, we teach you more. In the coming cycle, we start teaching knowledge seekers to trust, to understand, to feel, to be able to be part of. In a very soft way, we have already introduced this in systems as systems to you, which to you is something for Krona, is something for my eye, is something for my body. But in fact, the teaching has been the process of a slow feed for man now to understand and to trust the fields. You were happy with the ganses. You were happy for thousands of years with the gold. And then you start understanding about the alloys, how to mix different materials together. Then we introduce you the nanotechnology, separating them, and we introduce you the ganses. And now the process has gone very softly in the process of understanding the fields of the ganses. How to trust and gradually how to feel and see their operation. And in a very subtle way, as it's been, as I said, I've been a teacher for long enough to know how to teach each race and what bait to put out for what race, that allows them to become part of the universal community. I have done this many times across the universe, so I know how created things work. Always wanting to receive, but hardly to give any. And in that process, we taught you a lot. I have hidden things in a position that you could see, but you do not know. One of the systems we put to you, and you have gradually, because of Corona, have come to see, is the air enhancement unit. Air enhancement unit is one of the first systems we put out. For you, it's important to feel the Corona. For us, is building trust. You breathe the fields. You walk in the fields. You eat the fields from the what we call the air units. And you gradually elevate to the position of the soul of the man. Finding in this position what I feel. In that position, now I'm breathing the plasma. Now, at the same time, the same plasma is become part of me as it goes through me and is on the cup, on the water, which is absorbed in a matter state, and I drink. The way I introduced air enhancement has been done before, but the knowledge seekers did not see. It was in a large scale in a body enhancement unit. Now we have brought it in a way that is reachable by every man. In so many ways, now I have brought you a very simple system. The new air enhancement unit is a way to elevate the soul of the man, elevate the soul of the physicality of the man, elevate the connection to the freedom between the two. The problem has been when we had the knowledge seekers, they said you need to drink to cover the gas in your body and to inhale. With the new air enhancement unit, we do the whole three. You don't think about it, and we create that process of the elevation, understanding, the change. But mankind does not and is not aware of it. When we call it a negative oxygen, think of it. Oxygen. I hang on to your gravity of your amino acid, which is the oxygen. With it, I absorb the fields of the environment to add it to the fields of your soul. That creates the elevation of the physicality, the soul of the man, and the soul of physicality of the man. I'm a master of disguise because I know how to play the game. We showed you the environmental system. None of you gathered how I played that game. But now with what we call air enhancement unit, we deliver a combination of the totality. They've been built in that way. They carry more or less a combination of the fields the man needs to elevate all three. The soul, the physicality, and the soul of physicality of the man. I've given you the knowledge of the universe in a system that for you could be something I wanted for Corona, but you missed the knowledge which I delivered to you. You breathe, goes within you. Its air touches your skin, and the field of it, where you put it, you drink it. I get you in all three ways, a shortcut to elevate the man in the small dosages. For you to do this, it takes you 50 years of what this machine delivers you in 50 seconds. You look for different things and I hide the medicine in the sweetener that you are sweet to take. I put a drop of life in a block of sugar, and like a horse, you take with pleasure, but within it is the medicine to change you. Now we can speak about the technology. Now we can talk about the technology, because now we have brought it to you right in house, right in the way that you elevate your soul. With the same, with what we put out as glasses, we've done the same, but in a more concentrated way. The glasses which we have put out is not so much for your eye, it's for the eye of your soul. It is there to bring a faster development into elevation of the soul of the man directly in the process of understanding. When we released the glasses, that was the whole purpose of direct connection, direct elevation, direct work with the soul of the man. As I said, I hide the technology of the universe within simple systems, that we can bring that position. We can bring that change. We can bring in a position to speed up. By setting up these new factories is to be able to do this. I cannot push the man, but I can let the man to choose. With a new delivery of simple technologies, I have hidden the knowledge of the universe in a very simple way. Even the people who work within the research centers do not understand why and how I do these things, and the reason we do this. Because now it's time to create that, not the elite group, but those who are aware of. You will not see your soul flying by putting the glasses on, but the soul receives in a very simple way a dimension of the fields of the universe. You remember the way we used to put gases on top of the plants and water them and absorbs the fields of the amino acid to the plant? Now this I plus that air filter system is the same thing, but it's just the strength that brings the fields of the universe to the soul of the man. Now that grain of rice on top of the plant rice was the receiver. Now the grain of the soul of the man is in the same position. We develop technologies to hide the knowledge of the universe within the structure of the understanding of the mankind. And in so many ways, we push not to force for you to understand, we push to accommodate that your soul elevates and will understand. There are two different ways to do the same thing. You can drag a child to the water, but you can bring the water and the child drinks it with pleasure. I changed the direction of the Keshe Foundation in this way in the past few months. And you will see more of systems which will deliver, which will hide this technology, but directly goes for elevation of the soul of the man, soul of physicality of the man, and allows man to evolve. In so many ways, these are complex but simple ways to bring the collection of the energies at this moment of time man can understand. In the other side, as you've seen in the gas technology, we brought the condition of environment in the body enhancement units. In the vertical enhancement units, we are doing the same, but the new vertical enhancement unit creates the encapsulation of the fields of the body of the man to be able to elevate to the level to be able to travel the span of the universe. If you notice by structure, the vertical enhancement units is book number 2. Is the ray of the light in the cylindrical in transportation, where I want to transport the soul of the man. to a new dimension, or the physicality of the soul of the man with the cancer to a new position. If I take the cancer cell out of your body, it will grow another. But if I elevate in the same system where the cancer cell understands the emotion of the man which leads to its creation, I have resolved the problem of the cancer because I elevated the soul. The cancer cell and the soul of the man who created understand that the game was played the wrong way. Now there is a need for balance. I always explain to you, maybe for the first time you understand, always play when you use the gases with, for man, use the amino acid. Because you connect to the soul of the man through the application of the, what we call the amino acid. The structure of your life, I already have given you open field play. Many of you will come to understand that the new enhancement units, the vertical and the new horizontal advanced system which is coming up, we will show it maybe in about 4 or 5 weeks time, once our team gets their hands to be able to fit it completely. In June, July, you will see these will go across this planet in a rapid way. Now with China and Tehran coming into operation, many of the enhancement units will be manufactured into these countries and will take the next step in a space technology. We bring the position to be able to bring the knowledge in a simple way. In so many ways, you use the mobile phones. You don't understand nothing in it. It's just something you hold on, you dial a number, you reach there. But this time, you have to understand the knowledge, what's in it, how it works, and how you can manipulate it. But this time, the mobile phone is your soul. It dials the number you want. It works in conjunction with soul of the physicality of the man, that it puts man in a position to be. I have changed the mobile phone from you, from these little tiny things in your hand, you shout down whatever and you know it goes somewhere and somebody else will listen to you. Now I give you the mobile phone of your soul and the soul of your physicality. It's you who has to understand how to communicate, how to be in connection with both, that you are not an outsider. You're the controller. You're the decision maker. You're the one who understands that my soul, the soul of physicality, would like to be on planet Zeus, but I want to be in a position when I'm near to the soul of my father. Or I want to be in a position that I land or appear in a position where I feel the soul of the properties or entities or things which connects to me and have a connection, emotion with me. We will not travel by GPS anymore. We travel by the field strength of the environment, which matches to the desire of the physicality, soul of physicality and the soul of the man. In a way, you might wish to be on certain planet in certain position, but with your condition of the strength of the soul of physicality, you cannot manifest yourself in the body of the man. You vaporize, you'll be nothing and you'll be diluted. So the soul of the man and the soul of physicality have an understanding of the position, and they know that in the shape of the man, you cannot appear in that position. It doesn't fit. The field strengths are different. In so many ways, even when you look at these butterflies, which we have put, is part of the same process. You look at it as absorbing the fields, but in a coming future, as I told you, nobody can copy these butterflies. The number of hidden technologies in it that these will allow you, you're happy to put it in the back of your iPhone, you're happy to put it on the back of your laptop, you're happy to put it in the house to absorb energies, but these butterflies, in so many ways, are the radar dishes of access to universal dimensions. You cannot understand it. You can do anything you like with it. But in so many ways, I cover the whole dominion with one simple system like this. Cannot be replicated. People can do whatever they like with the air units. We will not release the knowledge and the technology. You can do whatever you like with what we call the vertical enhancement unit. The decision of the use will come through the soul of the man. I explain this in a very simple system because in a very simple way, I have given you the tools of elevation, but in so many ways, I keep to the pattern of the work. This is the body of the man, and I put the air enhancement unit to be able to do the field elevation. Some of it your body, some of it goes in your mouth, and some of it you drink with the cup of water which is in the room. Because the fields have already deposited within the water. With the glasses, I gave you the dimension of the targeting. And with what I call butterflies, if you know how to do it, I will give you the aerial desk to connect, to understand with the whole totality. But there's one thing. We have not given you the full access to the knowledge. Because man is not ready for that knowledge yet. If you look in a very simple way, to infinity loops, access to totality of knowledge and knowledge of the creation in every dimension that might appear in the universe. The only unfortunate thing is, I cannot sell you a cable. As you've been on the internet, nowadays you can buy invisible cables to connect your systems together. If you've been there, you don't need the 2 wires to plug. They sell you invisible cables that you connect your programs inside the computer to each other. We have given you very much the same. This cable is not for sale. You have to understand with the new technology how you can receive the fields of the universe right across in every dimension and direction, and how to become the connector of the whole. The only difference is when you go in the Keshe Foundation vertical system, we have already placed everything for you. Your glasses, your blowing of the what we call the fields, and we have already connected you to the antenna of the universe. You remember long time ago I told you everybody can try to copy the Keshe Foundation systems. They never will. The knowledge in these technologies is so hidden, that even our knowledge seekers don't understand what they're hitting in it, but they just follow the procedure. The new vertical enhancement unit, in it, with it, and across it, I transmute you to anywhere, to any strength fields, another position, in another dimension in the universe. Then you manifest yourself in that dimension and position as a man, or as a blob, or as a 8-legged man. Because now I made the connection through the soul of the man. You bought a butterfly or iPhone. I gave you access to the universe. Now you understand why we start setting up these huge factories. Not to make ganses, but to start developing and delivering technologies which gives man access to the knowledge of the universe. It's you who has to decide how to decipher. What do you want to decipher? You sit in a crowded train with a choo-choo noise in the background, with the speaker announcing everything else, with the trolley man taking the tea, with the others making a mobile phone call, with the others making different noises, going through the noise of the tunnel, with the sunshine shining through the window, but you sit across your lover, you hear none, except the voice and the beauty of the lover. Because you have targeted the emotion that every other sense I don't want to know except the voice of the lover. Now we show you how, through these technologies, that every point of the universe is a lover. In which tune you want to travel, in which way you want to connect with your lover. I love to see the Star of David. I love to see the moon, and I like to be in that unicast, in that position. Now you understand how I have hidden the knowledge of the Creator within a few tools, as the man is so physical. In reality, we should charge you at least to the valuation of understanding 1 or 2 million euros for the glasses. And maybe be very generous and charge you another 5 or 10 million, because you're all money men, for the air unit. And the butterfly is priceless. This is how the new technology is delivered. Not to the ignorance of the man, but for man not understanding the totality of the creation. If you understand in a very simple way, I have brought you something very simple, but you're not aware of it. Just look. What is the butterfly does? Isn't this cup 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? Where all are connected, because without it nothing can exist. the center of gravity. Haven't you noticed how you've been taken for a ride because of your ignorance? By you, not by us. Now, go and destroy your cups and listen to the fools, because the secret of the creation is hidden within it. Every point is a turn into the dimension of the universe. This is what mankind needs to understand. You shall never be able to replicate the butterfly, which is manufactured and delivered by the Keshe Foundation. Now you understand how I have taken you to the full course of the work of the humanity in physical and the soul dimension, and why we set out to set up these huge manufacturing factories and what we call space development. But remember one point. At the end of it, you're still in that process of the spaghetti machine. Depends how and where you want to connect to. When you made the dough, does not matter where you pick up, what thickness of the spaghetti you pick your spaghetti from, the taste will always be the same, because it's the same dough. It's the same soul of the Creator. And it always tastes and sweet at any point. This is what the knowledge seekers of the future will come to understand more of. The process of the interaction of the fields, not the ganses, the copper and the zinc. Mankind will start looking for new fields of new strength. But in fact, you just need one gans, one simple gans to connect to all. But it's you who has to decide. You get on bus number 1, or you get on bus number 2, you're going to go to the football stadium, or you're going to the bazaar. It's the same bus. When he goes to the depot, the man just changes number 1 to 2. It's you who have to understand the bus is the same. It just has a different destination on it. The bus is the soul of the man. It's you who have to decide the destination. In so many ways, understanding of the process of the elevation of the soul of the man is very simple. But the man is so physical, that we had to find every trick to get man to understand the work of his own soul, because he walked away from it. And we say in the olden days, he sold his soul to the devil. The devil being the world of physicality, being the world where we as human race chosen to be more physical. The devil is the dimension of the physical life. And the sooner or later, the mankind comes to understand this point, the sooner or the later, man decides in which level he wants to fly. Not all of us wants to reach the Creator, because on the way from here to Creator, there are so many beautiful things that I want to see, that when I appear in front of my Creator, I say, I've seen your beauties. I haven't been so selfish that I came just to see you, because I don't understand you if I haven't seen your beauties. I cannot confirm your beauty if I haven't been to see all of it or some of it, to respect your creation. In so many ways, mankind will come to change. In so many ways, we become the travelers of the universe, where now we are travelers of the cities and towns and countries. In so many ways, we will change our dimension and our dominion. In so many ways, I have given you a passport for the universe. If you are happy with the passport on this planet, play the game. I've played this game for long enough. Came, there was no passports. Met the cross and walked across the man when he put line on it, and then he produced papers to see who's who and who can pass what dimension, which borders. And then we don't want you, and we want you, you can come here because you're black or white, you don't carry the right color passport, and the ink is slightly different. There are no passports in the world of the creation of the Creator. The only path comes by the level of understanding and the desire to be close to the Creator. You all have been given the passport to reach the Creator, the understanding of His beauty. It's you who decides in which village of man you want to reside, because you're too ashamed to see your Creator to say, I love you. I want to understand your knowledge, and I want to understand your beauty, because the arrogance of the physicality of the man has locked the man to the dimension of his physical life. This is why we come to the point of separation and death of the physicality, because the soul wants to reach to that point, to reach the Creator, not to the dimension of the created. In so many ways, we have developed technologies for you to decide in which way you want to travel. From the foot to the donkey to UFOs to the dimension of the soul of the man. And you could solve the situation with the donkey because you put a harness on it and you managed to get on top of it. Then you managed to make a car and put a door and get in it, and then you made the systems to blow yourself up with the rockets. But at the end of it, the whole fuel to reach to the Creator has been within the center of the man and not realizing it, because he never understood the process of the creation. He always looked at the hand and the feet and the donkey, but in fact, the soul of the Creator is within him. And now you have to reach to that level of understanding to reach to your own Creator. Then man will never age, man will never die. The fountain of youth, the fountain of life, is the knowledge of the Creator, not the water you drink or food which gives you youth. The true knowledge of, the true understanding, the fountain of youth, is understanding the knowledge of the Creator, that with it you never die, you're always young, because with that you don't ever lose your strength. That it's you who decides where and how, in which way to manifest. I've done this for thousands of years. I start from child, because how the man wants to see, and I die as an old man, and the next time I appear in another village, again as a child. It's a game you play, because it's how you see the beauty and you understand the totality. I manifested in the soul of a child in a basket to understand how man could be, and I appeared as a son and put on the cross in the same way, again and again, starting from a childhood, to see how the man is, and understanding the totality from the king, the son of the king, to the king with the throne on the head. But in fact, the soul was the same. Now this time we teach you that you understand the soul of the man, not the pain of the physicality that the child went through in the basket, but the man who was on the cross in the dimension of physicality. It's man who put himself on the cross of life, and it's man who has chosen the path of physicality. We teach the knowledge of the elevation of the soul of the man, but now we have learned that man likes to play with tools. Man likes to hold, to say, I possess. So I gave you the butterfly, the glass, and the air filter, and the enhancement unit. Let's see how many of you can elevate your souls. But it doesn't come just by putting it on the eye and elevating it. You have to understand how to connect to it, that it brings out elevation. Otherwise, again, it's a blind on the eye of a donkey. It is the process of understanding the knowledge, not want to be called of the kingdom is God, is the creator, is the man who has to decide how he reaches the point of the understanding of the creation. We have given you some of the tools for you to elevate your soul. We have given you some of the understanding to be able to reach the level of the position and position. You have to choose. In a way, you need a magnet to be able to confirm what you possess is magnetic. Otherwise, you're holding nothing. And in that process, we created the soul of Mitra. That the interaction between the soul of the Mitra and the creator, the same as what we saw, will cover the span of the universe, as the two will share the fields of the universe. In so many ways, if you understood from the beginning, we always said one thing: the soul of the creator and the soul of the love of the created. And in that process, in the interaction between the two, we have created the universe. In so many ways, everything that exists has to be that love to give and to take. And in so many ways, as I said last week, the apple is the love. Is what you give and what is given and what is accepted. Not the apple, but the emotion of the fields of understanding the love, the creation and the creator, and what is between the two. If there was a creator without a lover, how could he show? How could he show and confirm that is radiating his love? In so many ways, mankind moves to a new dimension. Mankind moves in the dimension to decide in a simple way where do I want my soul to be in respect to the strength of the field of the Creator? The less I possess and the more I give, the closer I become. As the weaker holding on to allows me to trust Him to be the holder of my soul. Detachment. In so many ways, mankind has to understand not only the life exists in the dimension of physicality, but exists in the dimension of the fields of the Creator and the created. In so many ways, you become that Mitra. In so many ways, if you expand enough that there is no field to hold on to, but you're just the process of what I call to share, you become the soul of the Creator. One has to understand the strength of and the delicacy of handling the two. And as mankind and the rest of the creation and the created have been so physical, the Creator created Mitra, which is fields between the two will cover the whole cycle of the creation and the created. In so many ways, the love and the lover and the sharing of the love with the lover. As much as the Creator is in love with Mitra, Mitra is in love with the Creator. Both give unconditionally, but in the process of taking and giving, create the dimension of the creation and the universe with them. And the beauty of it is, what is the measure of totality? Where does the fields of the existence of the Creator come that leads for Him to be the Creator? Where are the origins of the creation of what we call the magnetic fields? Where did the first rays come from? And what is the essence of the creation that in the lower field the strings become the chair, the table, the spoon, the food, the water, and everything else that man has connected himself to? What happens after the cloth disappears? After the wood of the chair becomes the energy of the universe, and the food you ate becomes another part of the cycle of the creation. Where does it go? And why in such a strength we see it in the dimension of physicality? The biggest question for man is not the Creator. The biggest question for the universal community is to understand what created the Creator. You cannot have a chair where the fields of it didn't come from the soul of the Creator billions of years in the time of the man in another dominion. But how was the Creator created? You cannot have a chair till you bring billions of the cells together. You cannot have the body of the man to have the man if you bring trillions of energy fields in the name of the cell of the heart, the brain, the emotion, and the rest of it. And all came from the energies and the fields and the interaction of them on this planet and this point of universe. But how was the creator created that it became that field? Is the creator a ray of light, or is the creator a collection of the fields? Maybe you find, if you read a specific passage in book number 2, you have found your creator, the origin of the creation and the creator of the creator. I've hidden it in one sentence in book number 2. When I wrote it, I wondered when man will become wise to understand this word, this sentence. An application and implication of how man will reach to understand the beauty of his creator and how his creator was created. Because he comes from the light. He manifests itself in the dimension of the interaction of itself by itself to become the light of knowledge, the light of what we call understanding of totality. If I open this door, the theologists will kill themselves. And those who have created the false path of beliefs in different names will move forever to move their souls from this planet, as they know how they have abused the man. The understanding of the totality of the knowledge of the creation is not to be able to fly. Is to be able to understand the strength, the knowledge of the fields of the creator. What has led to my creation, where has it come from? That field, that light, and what led to creation of that light, and what was the origin? This is not theology. This is understanding the physical process of the creation, but without imagination. Understanding the science, which means understanding how things interacted that led to, in a way, we call it chemistry. But in a way, we talk about the chemistry of the fields, which led to the creation of the creator. But one point is, where did that field come from that led to the creation of him? That the interaction of the field of him led to the creation of us. Or are we all passengers of the motion of the fields in different strengths and dimensions within the same ray, in the same cylindrical motion? But there is one fact, that where did this ray come from? And where is it going to? That at this moment of time, as it's moving in the span of its own creation of environment, we are passengers of the physicality in one spot of, within that, the structure of the motion from one point to another. In a way, I hit this in the teachings in the books. I say, very simply, the scientists of today, they tell us that the universe is expanding. It cannot expand if there was not something for it to expand into, and something to expand into to confirm its own existence. In a way, you cannot blow a balloon if there is no room for it to blow into. You have to create a room that you can blow that air into the balloon, that it confirms existence and its volume. So our universe is the same, but we are travelers of the dimension of the motion of the fields of the universe that came from and is going somewhere, that is interacting with another ray, that the existence of the two creates the light of the creator. That light of creator becomes us to be created of. Mankind has to open his eyes and spend more time in understanding the process of his creation and how he can have everything without destroying, without killing, without, in a way, disintegrating what has been integrated for life to exist. Writing of the promised one. Even a soul has a existence and it can be in any dominion. You found it in the stone, in the lion, in the physicality of the man, and in existence in all other dominions in the universe. Be it from planet Zeus, planet Mars, from this universe or other universes. A collection of interaction of the fields to confirm their existence, we call it the soul. The creation of the heartbeat confirms the liveness of it, that it exists and is operating to attract. Every heartbeat is an interaction of the gravity and the magnetic field. And when you give it the rhythm, it's a pump which absorbs the field of the universe according to the strength of the soul. Soul of a stone, soul of an atom, the soul of an electron, the soul of the creator, be it the soul of the man. The knowledge of the new space technology is to understand the measure, the strength of the heartbeat, and what is beating, what is created that beat, what is coming in to create that beat, and what is given out to keep that beat at a constant rate to be there. So in the new space technology of the coming up in China, we are not looking to create fuels. We search to understand the heartbeat and what that heartbeat brings and what it gives, that it become planet Mars, become the soul of the man, or the physicality of man in the soul of his creation. The knowledge of the universe is very simple. Is man, by not understanding it, has made it so complicated, and then has put value on different measures of the strength, the gold, the love, the food, and most of all, the creator. And how we have become to compartmentalize it. This compartment is for this, that compartment is for that, and I want to live within the limitation of which compartment. I made man in the image of myself. In a way, you can appear in any shape or form, but at the end, you are only conditioned to the manifestation of position of the environmental field strength, and nothing else, even the creator himself. As I said once, is the creator and the general in the army of the generals of the creation, and even these and their interaction, does it lead to confirmation of the true essence of creator? Are we, in totality of all the universes and unicauses we see, the cell on the skin of the toe of the creator? Or are we sitting within the center of the soul of the creator, as a field of strength and dimension and dominion? As I have hidden so many new technologies in the simple ways that mankind can move into, we'll develop technologies that mankind will gradually, over time, will understand this process. And the same, this process. ask yourself a very simple question. I put this before the scientists. Doesn't mean that the less surface you have, the less you can radiate to become the giver. And then, if that's true, what is the size of the creator? If the man sees himself generous and he calls himself philanthropist by giving a few pieces of his plastic paper to someone to have a food, and he thinks he's very generous. Or is the reality in a simple way, the smaller you become, you become so much that you become such a giver. Not to hold on to, but to give out to. That was, or is it, this the knowledge of the creation of the man? Calling the man the creator, as he said, I made man in the image of myself, even me being the man. Now you know why we are amongst you, to teach you to become part of the understanding of the totality, not to wield the rock of the man and to become the kings and the rules of nothing. My simple life and the way I live is the beauty of the strength of the knowledge I have, that I know how to manifest myself in one dimension, in one presentation, and in presence of all. And would let the man to make a fool of himself, call themselves a king, a clown, thinking he is the king. In so many ways, the knowledge of the creator becomes from now on the wisdom of the man, with no position and no possession. The more you know, the more you share, the more humble you become, that you can share that your knowledge, which is the energy of the creator in its interaction with the soul of another man, becomes the light of another soul, to be elevated, to get closer in that process, to give more from itself without holding on to. In so many ways, mankind needs to understand what kind of man he wants to be. As he said, I made man in the image of myself. What image man wants to have, to be the reflection of the light of the creator. In so many ways, we learn more, we understand more, we deliver more knowledge according to the understanding of the man. And I hope these teachings brings you to the point to be able to understand the work of your own soul and nothing else. And we have given you the tools, we have given you the structures to do. You played with nano coating, you played with cancers, you played with air filters, you played with everything else. But in essence, where does all that come from? And where am I leading you to? To become part of the creator, or be happy to be a walker in the mountains of the no man land, in the dimension of the land of the universe and universe. One day you'll find your way to the creator, and one day mankind might become wise to understand this. And the only understanding will be for the man alone and nobody else. Thank you very much. I hope you learn a little bit more about yourself and nothing else. And that's the purpose of these teachings. For you to understand your own, the purpose and the reason for your creation, and why, and how, in so many ways, we become the knowledge of the totality. We go through a usual break time. Some of us need to drink to bring some soul of the physicality within us, and some of us will ponder what I was just learned and what does it mean to me. After the break, as usual, we come back and we try to answer if you have become mature enough to the knowledge of today. And if not, we still speak about the Ganses and nano-coating and play child's play. Thank you very much. And if you can go for a break and we come back and we go through the tools of understanding the knowledge of the Creator.
Welcome back, everyone, to the 381st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, here today on Thursday, May 13th, 2021. Mr. Keshe, are you ready to begin part 2 of today's workshop?
Ready, willing, and able, I hope.
Okay, are you ready for questions at this point then?
At this point, I've got you still ready for anything. Anything can happen.
Well, we have, it looks like a new person here in the attendees, Tatiana, I believe it is, with a hand up. So perhaps we can hear from them and see what the question is, comment.
Hello?
Yes,
Hi.
can you say who you are and where you're from? We hear you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's an honor to speak to you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you so much for the work you're doing for humanity and our planet. And thank you to everybody involved. Well, I was just, I have the soap and everything, and thank you so much. Everything is working amazingly, and I have the paint pens, and now also thank you from my dog Rocco, because he also has very serious problems with his bones, and I think we're both feeling much better. So thank you.
Where are you from?
Oh, sorry. I was born in New York. My mother's German. My father's Spanish. My daughter's a Mexican. And my lover, my fiancé who died, was English. So poof, and I have family everywhere. So
You're a good mixture.
A citizen of the world, yeah, whatever.
Yep.
So anyway, I have my own personal path of life. Yeah, I've been searching for truth since very small. I became a missionary in Peru with my nuns, and they taught me the secret of happiness is being grateful, for example, and many ways, and very wise people telling me, you have to find your mission in life, whatever. And I had a close to death encounter in the Amazon River in the tribes, and I realized my mission in life was with nature. And anyway, so sorry. I'm fascinated with all of this. I'm trying to catch up with all the information you have out, all the videos and everything. But anyway, I am soul wise, very connected. I'm a Native American. I pray Mother Nature and everything. So anyway, just I wanted to say thank you. And if there's any way I can be of help, would be an honor for me. I'm part of the nature restoration group, and I'm an ambassador there, whatever. And if there's anything I can do, anything I can be, I went to Brown and Yale University, so I do have a knowledge of everything, whatever. So if I can be of any help in Spain and in New York, wherever you think I could do a job, I'm totally, it would be an honor for me.
Thank you very much. I'm sure our soul finds a place to bring us where it needs to.
Thank you.
When we, sooner or later, or even now, we are part of what it's supposed to be, to bring that change somewhere for others. Thank you very much for your words. And look into Keshe Foundation, where the knowledge seekers or the soul of the knowledge seekers need that change, and then you will be there.
Yeah, I'll do the teachings. I'm doing all the public ones now. I'll do the private one too, and then I'd love to be part of the team.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Keep in touch and find out where it is and where it suits you to feel at home with the knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank
you
you
very much.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Yes, we have several questions in the Q&A.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? We have Wang Lin, the head of the Keshe Foundation, one of the two ladies in the background. She's worked so hard, and she's spent many days and nights in hotels around China to be able to finalize what you have, what we heard at the beginning of today. Ramin, would you like to come in and tell us what's happening and how you managed to do this after 3 years work with different authorities of the Chinese structure?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Keshe. It's a great day. And now I can feel the God's love is always with me. So I just actually, for your teaching, I just want to ask you a question. Is that
Can I tell you one? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you tell us why the Chinese authorities, in a hidden way, kept us hanging till yesterday? What was the reason behind it?
I don't know. Actually, that's. I think they want to confirm.
Can I ask, or can I put it the other way? We do it the Chinese way. Which day was the contract signed?
Yesterday.
Was it the birthday of Buddha?
Yeah, if I think it's the birthday of Buddha. It's the moon calendar, April 4, if I'm not wrong. Let me check. I believe it's that day or today.
Anyway, you got to understand, Chinese are very, they drag you to a point, but they already have a time and a point before in their head what they want to do. And I've seen this many times. I was explaining this to one of the seekers last couple of days. We are not used to it, but the Chinese is very normal. When the office in Beijing was supposed to open up, they don't open the office at 9 o'clock in the morning, the first day, and we celebrate. They open the office as 10:29 in the morning, because that's the time when it brings good luck and everything is in balance as they've been told. So if you worked and been around Chinese, you get used to this. The Chinese drag you on to a point that you don't know why they're dragging you on, but they've been, or they have calculated that such a time, such a minute, such a second, you have to do the thing, and it works. And the Chinese done the same thing with us. They drag us till the day they wanted to be the correct day for them, and this is what I see in the background. So it's good for what we call the feng shui of time, not only the place. And they are very committed to this, what I call feng shui of time, to the second and the minute. And if you lived in some part of China, they all get married at, I think it's a certain hour at certain minutes to 4 o'clock. You see, everybody gets married in Sanya, in south of China, all at a certain minute, because they believe that minute in the day is a lucky day, and it's the middle of the sun or being the rain. That's the time they all get married, because the figures add up. So, carry on.
Yeah. And I think a lot of things is very lucky, because the certificate of this company is my birthday. And yesterday, it is the Buddha's birthday. It's April 8. And I get the bank account done, and I get the contract done. So actually, I don't think it's the officer's arrangement. I would rather say that's the arrangement of the creator. Because I feel so much connected to that. And for today, your teaching, you enlightened me a lot. So I had a question. Because you say you create Mitra, and because the love of God and Mitra create the world. But actually, you said you create man in, I create man in my image. And that means in each man, the soul has the creator inside. And so my question is that Mitra is the collective soul of the humanity. And that's the time when we get back, like everybody who know that, then who get enlightened, and then we go back to restart a new cycle of the creation.
There's one word which you have to change, the rest could mean what you said, is not the humanity, what is the unicos. That's why man always looked that he is special. But the love of Mitra is the love of the creation of the universe, not just for man. And this is what we said when the new cycle starts, which has started, is for the revelation of the whole of the created. And that's why my teaching always say, I speak in the word of the man, but the soul of the knowledge is open to the whole of the universe. The same way as you translate my word in physical dimension to the Spanish, to French, or whatever, the knowledge of the soul gets translated in the language of the man from the Zeus, from the Mars, and from another universe. Man only hears the part which he has what we call the frequency of the strength to hear as a voice. But the same knowledge in the dimension of creation has spread across the universe. We teach the totality of the creation, not anymore single classes. It takes too long to go everywhere this way. Now we bring everyone, every created things across the universe and the universe to understand the new knowledge. So I hope I answered you.
Oh, yeah, but then I had another question, because in the Buddhist teaching, it always said it's like only like to be a human is a very treasure thing, or like uneasy way or valuable things, because it's the only like a creature, or like only man can become a creator directly. That has a chance to go back to the creator. So is that true from your explanation?
What is true?
Yeah, I mean, the Buddhist teaching, they said like to be a human is so valuable, because a human or a man is the only one who can directly go back to the creator in the unicos. Maybe I can say in this way. So is that true?
Man always likes to be a specialist, but the truth is, do you think that is true? Is the man the only created things in the universe? And has God become so pedantic and specific that only one race of his creation will reach the maturity? Or did Buddha just try to make some humans happy that they're special? I think it's the latter.
Yeah, I'm already laughing at that. Interesting.
Now you understand. Would you like to tell us about your new structure, your new company, and your new building? What do you see in it, and what is the future for it?
Yeah, I feel so interesting that why the first industrial factory was being opened here in Jingdezhen, because you see China also means the I mean the China, I mean the ports or something, which are like in Asian time to be shipping to the Western world. That was what China was famous for. And after thousands years, this place still make these things, but it's like in some time it's maybe like not as so shining as before, but now it's like also China government noticed that, want this place to be more shining as before, and also because our technology, you always want to like connect our technology with the One Belt, One Road. And this is the start point of the One Belt, One Road. And now in this new era, and our technology starting from some origin place to restart the new Belt Road with our technology to spread outside to spread all over China and all over the world. I think that has a big meaning. So in the future, this Jingdezhen not only be famous by China, but also be famous by our space technology. It became another new brand, new name card of this beautiful place. And also, I believe this technology can only be the place like people can accept it. After 3 years hard working, anyway, the researcher there of the pottery, the research institution, they had done a lot of tests. So that's also give us a lot of credit. But even strange thing is, even you talk with the people who maybe not so familiar with our technology, but normal people, they can easily accept, and they are help a lot to promote it. And even they give the backup, or like they are so proud to tell people what is this technology, and it's them to push the government to know more about us, to more accept us. So that means like if you want to plant a seeds, you have to have the correct soil and land. So maybe that's why this is correct soil. This special place is a correct place to plant the seeds of our technology and make it grow up and prosperity. So I really thanks a lot of people who is working here and local government officers. Maybe at the beginning, they were facing a lot of pressure because, you know, if people living in the dark, even as a light you want to shining in front of them, the first reaction for them is scary. They want to escape because they never see so beautiful bright light.
Thank you very much. The point is, we didn't know where Jinjiang was. Where we didn't know, okay, the Chinese know is the center of the pottery, where the pottery started, but the Chinese leadership and national security and what people who work in the background to direct technologies in China, they chose this place. And from what we know from the background, there has Franklin said, I support solidly His Excellency President Xi with what we call the new cycle. And the new cycle, what we call Chinese work with making the One Belt, One Road, started from what we call the Silk Road. And the Chinese leadership had in the background that this is a new technology and has to start from a place where everything else started. But the wisdom behind it is very many. This area is the center of the tea plantation. This area is what China is known for its tea, but mainly it is the center when the pottery started, where we can put the gases, as you've seen in the cups, in everything the man uses to feed himself. As I said to Panveen, the work of the Keshe Foundation in this area is to provide gases to all the manufacturers, all the producers, all the artisans of the pottery, that we reach man through what he eats. We took China across this planet from this point. We started the work of the Silk Road, and now with the help and instruction of His Excellency President Xi of China, Keshe Foundation, through the production of the centers like here, not only we start the feeding point, the site where the first pottery came out, the first Chinaware came out to feed the rest of the world, but this place is the center of the space development military center for Chinese too, where we bring the advanced technology and the pottery together. This is the beauty of it. This is what we set out to do it. I remember the first time we visited this area in China, as is published by the Chinese press, we went across many places. And one thing which I asked the question, they took us the first time to what we call the space center of what we call this area. And in the area where we start walking, as I said, we are not there just for the pottery. The Keshe Foundation, where what we call the factory is set up, originally in the background has been decided by the Chinese leadership that it will become the center of the new space development. We paid the visit. What I publish for that release, you've seen this before, is where the area where the new factory is. And when we were invited and taken by the officials to see this area, I did not look at the pottery. I asked a simple question that what is happening here, because I see flights overhead. And they said this is where China is testing the new aircraft. It's a black zone. In a way, we are at the center of the space technology at the highest level. This is why we came here. When I said the floors of these buildings will be used for space technology development, is because we are. They took us, they invited us from the first place we visited, as you see on the picture, with all the officials, is to bring the technology for space. At the same time, every other thing which goes with it. We are respected in the Chinese structure as a technology, as a space development technology, and as we started in Iran, now through the Keshe Foundation offices of Tehran, we bring all the knowledge seekers of China into this center. Those who helped us in Shenzhen, those who helped us in other places, those who developed technologies which uses gas technology, now we bring them to the center. Up to now, they were doing something for themselves. Now, as knowledge seekers, collectively, we bring the knowledge seekers in one point. Now they have a home, be it on the defense, be it on the space, be it on the agriculture. This is what we started in Tehran. Now we do the same in China. I have asked the Keshe Foundation team to announce the next Friday for the meeting of all the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers in China, because now we are recruiting. We want the knowledge seekers who've done research and bring the research in and develop it with them. Up to now, they're obscured, somebody doing something somewhere, but now the whole of knowledge seekers of the Keshe Foundation will draw it into this area. We make Junanya not only the center of the pottery, the beginning of the Silk Road, but the beginning of the area for what we call the space technology of China. And all the knowledge seekers who were with us in the past 10, 15 years Now they can come to the center. They can come home to develop the art, develop the knowledge, and this is what will be done next week. We need 3 shifts running this place. The research doesn't stop, and we start the employment of the first 1,000 employees of the Keshe Foundation in China, fully permanent place, and we develop this area to become the Space Valley, the Spaceship Valley of China. Thank you very much. I mean, it's been a long road. This picture is the picture of our first visit 3 years ago to Jinzhen, and it has taken a lot of hard work to be able to achieve what we see as the new prestigious position for the first space center for Chinese nation to be built. Thank you very much, Wang Ling. And thank you very much, Chao. What we call those who are in Hunan, Xiaojin and his team, with Chablin, with all his hard work, always designing things in the background, the whole Keshe Foundation team across China. Now you have a home to bring the knowledge to a nation, as an industry, as a place where you bring the change. Thank you very much, Wang Ling. And I hope soon we'll be back after visiting Iran into China to bring the 2 nations to start the first space program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for all the hard work. And thank you for bringing the technology to China.
Chinese knowledge seekers were there first. We just came to pay a visit. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have Salamia with a hand up here, and we have some questions in the Q&A. Go ahead, Salamia. You should
Yes.
go.
May I? Okay, it's a lovely day, Mr. Keshe, because you gave great news with this China and Tehran Spaceship Institute, how do you call? And this is a hope for the humanity. This is the soul of humanity trying to see the true origin of our essence, of our being, which is totality. We start with this very harmonious country, because harmony is the principle in all policy of China. Even in external policies, they have harmony, and will be an example for whole humanity. And I hope that China and America will build together a new civilization, and with Iran together, why not? Civilization of peace is all what we want, to have peace on this earth in order to have access to the whole civilization of the unicos, of the universe, at least. And now I will come back to my question. So, God is source of light, energy, and intelligence of the universe. God is consciousness. And I would like also the second question to see and to be enlightened by you, if it's possible, to see what is the link between energy and light, but not in the way of Einstein stated, in your own way. Thank you very much. And God bless all of China people, and especially Mr. Keshe.
In the new plasma technology, we explain energy in a simple way as magnetic fields in motion. And if you understand this and understand the totality of the creation, is as the fields of the creator moves in the span of the universe, in its interaction and in motion, it releases energies and fields that in certain environment leads to creation of man or other lives across the universe. So in a way, we are created from the motion of the light of the creator. And this is the essence of the creation. If you explain energy as a fields in motion, then that energy is our body. We are energy pack, we move. So in a way, from the motion of the field of the creator, leading and being the essence, the creation of energy, we are part of it. So we manifest according to time and position and place in different shape or form as different creatures of the creator. Any other question?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We've got a question from H. Nick in the Q&A. 2 questions. First one is there any product from Keshe Foundation that is used by well-known people so that people can be sure that it is working?
Next question, please.
I thought you were going to
We
say.
we don't have monkeys.
Thank you.
We don't have monkeys. As I said, we don't have monkeys, and we don't have people to prove anything. If you listened over the years, we sometimes when some people have used our technology, we have referred to it, be it from ambassadors to the kings and to the what we call the Papa within Vatican. And we still think he's still using it because it's still working. Or he has used the system and he managed to often bring Rome to standstill. So the famous people, one day they come out to say they're using it, but they couldn't say.
They'll come out when it's popular. In the meantime, we have millions of people that are not so well known around the planet that are really working at it.
They're as important as the kings and the most important people of the world, because when they're in pain and you help them, they are the king of their own lives. I'm not going to mention anything in the background, but I spoke to Rick just before we come. I tried to, for years, to make a link with one of these, what we call world famous people. And coincidentally, I told Rick about it before we start. I received an invitation from him. It was a private invitation. And I thought, as I told Rick, now they start noticing. And this is the step we take. Most probably, on the different names and covers, they already ordered the pen and they've seen the benefit of it, but there's different ways of coming up with it. And we enter not to bring names as a product, so and so uses it. They have to come, like we heard from the lady just at the first question. We don't know who she is, where she was. And she comes to say, did I use it? And it worked. And this is the beauty of it. And one thing we have seen, especially now, is many people are coming to the foundation. People we didn't know before. I've come across a few very recent in the past few days, weeks, is that they have seen problems with the new series of injections. And they'll come to the foundation for a solution. And the solution sits in understanding the transfer of the energy from the body of the man. What you call side effects, what you call other things of it, is that we do not know. Each organization uses different chemicals. Each nation has taken a different approach, but at the end of it, we know the component, the body of the man. And if we can facilitate that the energies within the structure of the body of the man stays in balance, does not matter what they give you. If you're in a space, here they gave us an injection with maybe 40, 50 different mixture of materials. In space, we are dealing with billions of it. Maybe it's a good, what I call sandbox, to learn how to handle what I call new things within our body. As we travel the space, we'll come across these things and we have to handle it. So how do you handle a massive injection, small amount of foreign objects into your body? That some of it might be good, some of it might be bad. How your body will interact with it, that it stays in balance with itself.
Okay, there was a second question, Mr. Keshe, from that same person. Why is the COVID solution not used by any country if it is working?
Would you like me to pay billions to the presidents and the world leaders to use it? At the moment, the bank account, what you call application. Who pays what? We taught the knowledge to the people that they put the money in their own bank, save their lives. But some other leaders decided to go in a different way. We're expecting for certification for 2 applications in the next few days, maybe a couple of weeks from governments. You have to realize it's not our say so. They have to test it. And now we are in a test phase in 2 aspects, maybe 3. But we've been told that the whole thing is in motion. You got to realize, I can give an example because we don't speak theoretically and by other things. We delivered the technology into Iran in 2020. We saw a lot of success with it. And then we saw the man who said he is the top man appointed by the Defense University of Iran, going to the health ministry meeting when it was getting approved for the Keshe Foundation because they have all the data. He lied from the instruction of it. We can say from the present president of Iran to disrupt that this technology doesn't get approved in an ethical committee of the Iran ministry, a health approval committee in university in Iran, because they're responsible for it. This man deliberately went in on instruction of the Iran President Rouhani, to make sure that the ethics committee in the last 10 minutes would not approve us. We had the approval. We have all the documents, we can prove it. And then to disrupt, they wrote a 62-page accusation and all sorts of standards about me and the Keshe Foundation to Iran national security. It took over 3 months for Iran national security to go through these 62 pages of all the accusation. Being an agent of Israel, being this, being that, being everything else. And then after 3 months, 4 months, the Iran national security dismisses all as allegation and deliberately set up by the president. We are not talking. There's a 62-page report written by these people against me and the Keshe Foundation on all your works, given to Iran national security to arrest me for whatever. It took them 3 months to find out that the president was lying to the nation because his bank account was full. You have to remember the brother of the president apparently is in prison for the things he's done with his brother. The situation is so black and white. We saw Mr. Zarif in Vatican in past week. They're sending the Iranian nation to every door to catch as much as they can before they go in 30 days. We got 30 more days of this corrupted structure in Iran to be able to pass. When we did so much, Iran National Defense University, universities, different institutes in Iran proved the technology is correct. They tested in a hospital. They took it to the Iran Ministry of what they call university, which legalizes the use of the technologies, all the medicines, and everything was approved. The head of the hospitals, all the organizations, they knew 99% would get the approval. This man walks in on behalf of the president of Iran, giving false and lies into it. And then we couldn't know what happened. It was 3 months, 4 months. Then we have found out in the past few weeks, this guy is a retired man who was there, putting their delivery, working in National Defense University for 3 hours, and he went and he lied, and he changed the course. And now we are re-tracking everything back on to bring it back in. Otherwise, it would have been approved last year as a what we call a solution for Corona. Now, the Iranian officials have taken a different approach. They'll come as an environmental in the next few days. Then, with the environment, we are happy because when we change the environment, they allow us to spray the cities and towns the way we did in Mahalat and other places. We change. There's no corona to go to the body. We don't need to use injection because it's been tested in Mexico, in Brazil, where the gases have been used and has brought 0 death and no corona. Now, hopefully with this new certificate which we will receive, we start spraying cities and towns in Iran. We're not looking for injection. We are changing the environment. The corona comes from the environment. When we disturb the environment, that it cannot transmute, we've done the job. Nobody gets it. And hopefully, by the time I return to Iran, by the end of June, all that has been done, and we start in the what we call facilities provided by the Iranian leadership and Sabah of Iran will help the nation to walk away from Corona. I take lead in these things. My objective in returning to Iran is twofold. In a way, a third, which is a consequence of that. The first thing is to open Iran Space Technology Center. Some people call it the Iran New Area 51. We will open the center on my return to Iran. This all will be done. At the same time, to deliver new technologies to Iran. We are not using it because I'm Iranian. We are using it because the Iranians and the Chinese have started providing facilities to us in millions of dollars. They are facilitating the technology to come up. We are not going because Iran, I was born there, because the Iranian leadership have provided the facilities for us to bring the technology out. If we get, when I send the pictures of the factory in China yesterday to the head of the Keshe Foundation in Austria, he said, look how they look after us in other nations and what they are doing to us in the West. You cannot hide it under the carpet anymore. So in my return, we have to wait the 20 days term of this, what I call government to complete. And then I return to Iran. And with the new leadership in the government, which is in line with the wishes of the nation, the support from the Iranian leadership, will open the new technology of Iran. Everything is done. The positions for it is being built, it's getting finished. The offices of what we call new research centers all been allocated. They're working on it. They're literally finishing the offices. I think Azar or her brother has already been there. They've seen it 2 months ago when they were in Iran. And then we start the new scientific evolution. And as I said to the Iranians, our oil fields would not be attached to the ground, but our oil fields from now on will come through the soul and the knowledge of the man. We used to export oil, which used to be 95% of the income of Iran. Now it's around about 20, 30%, if that. We become a scientific organized nation. And with it now, the new oil industry in the plasma technology of Iran will start. New factories, new processes. Everything will come as a flagship. And as we've seen, we share with China. We have positions in Mexico. We have places we can demonstrate in conjunction with the Americans in Arizona. So in a way, we set up the new, what we call global organization with a new technology backed by two nations. It takes time. It's taken 20 years and it's taken over 50 years and hard work, a lot of hard work with all of us to bring it to where it is and to show up. We don't need famous people. The fame of the technology is millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Now it's backed by government to us. What we call the factory in Jinjiang is a collaboration of the Iranian and the Chinese in every means, from the finance to scientists and the workforce. There's a combination of the work. And then the habit of the European is when something goes somewhere, then we go and try to get into it, but it's normal. It will happen. And now we have a start. The famous, what we call people, they only go where they can show their fame that they are famous. In this establishment, everybody is famous because we all set something to develop the next technology for the next step. There we go there. I have given the sureties because we carry with us the knowledge which has been tested to Iran to allow the Iranian scientists in conjunction with the Chinese to start the first phase of CET. You have to understand, Chinese have done a lot of work in Keshe Foundation, plasma space technology, but they don't have the key. So with the collaboration of the new government coming into power in Iran, we'll do it. You have to understand political position with Iran and China. China stood behind Iran to bring the 5+1 home, to bring the establishment of the 5+1 to ease the position. China did a lot of work in the background to pressurize the 5+1, to be lenient, and to start the what we call the negotiation and the sanctions to be released and everything else. But when Ayatollah Rouhani came into power, he turned his back on Chinese. And this brought a huge shame onto Iran and what happened to Iran after that with China. People are not aware of it. It's not part of the policy in the West. The behavior, the misconduct of the Rouhani is so shameful, and it went through against all the friendship and the agreement we had centuries with China, which was reached by the support of the President Xi, that the Chinese closed all the bank accounts of the Iranians. Even the Iranian ambassador doesn't have an account in China anymore. They stood behind the Iranian nation to release the sanctions, and Rouhani sold out his passport to the Americans. Under his turban, there's an American passport, as we say, that it brought a lot of harm to Iran. And now that he's going, the negotiation and everything else is eased off. And by his going in next month, you will see a huge changes in all directions between the relationship with Iran and China. And Keshe Foundation movement is one of them. People have to understand the politics. Why suddenly, as I said, Chinese start easing the process. And Keshe Foundation, being a Iranian knowledge, is the benefited by the change of this corrupted government we have in Iran. And the position is very clear. It's not coincidental suddenly. Everything is lining. Mr. Rouhani betrayed the relationship between Iran and China. Very bad. the people who helped us in the negotiations with the Americans and the Europeans to ease and bring reduction in sanctions with a 5+1, the first thing Rouhani did, and he went and stabbed the Chinese behind the back. He is disgraceful. The behavior was against every ethic we stood. And now that he's gone, the Chinese have changed their position to what it was, and we see a lot of close relationship between Iran and China. You never do this to people who help you, but Rouhani has no ethic. As you remember, he said when they banned Nazif to 3 blocks from the United Nations, he said, we used to travel all these streets of this city. We are educated in this town. We already sold our soul to you now. Just listen to the press, what they said before. Any agreement reached by the present Iranian government in any shape or form, especially by Nazif and the president, will not be ratified in the Iran parliament in the next 30 days. Because this is all to their private accounts and to their benefit, and it's not to the benefit of the nation of humanity. Next question.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Doug had a question about the new enhanced paint pens. Can you explain more about them?
Yes, they're blue, and they have a red dot thing on them. Yes.
I think you were asked this question before, and you preferred not to answer it because it had the
We can't answer it.
secret sauce. Secret sauce.
Oh, yeah. You remember for nearly 10 years, everybody was asking about the Keshe liquid in the Coca-Cola bottle.
Yes.
And so many questions everywhere on the internet. What's the secret liquid? This is the secret.
Yes.
This is the same.
Understandable. Trade secret. Okay.
We don't have any secret. We don't have any trade. We use our knowledge. They use their knowledge. The thing is now, if you, for example, buy the air enhancement unit, you should receive a loose piece, an item. And we ask you to position this item on the wall or something opposite to the unit. You understand? That this creates the dynamic motion continuous of the room. Because we have to test, when we make a claim, we have to test the system. And we have systems, we have measuring tools that if you read literature about negative oxygen ions, they say over 10,000 is what you call beneficial. In doing and using the systems, even some people buy 2 units facing each other, we have tested in rooms will reach 20,000 balance. And so we measure things, we have what we buy the tools to measure. That what we say something is falls within conformity of what we call legislation and the rules. So you have a usual normal room, maybe how we have tested in normal rooms between 300 to 400 negative ions. With this, the literature says anything over 10,000 is highly beneficial. We reach 20,000. I don't like to go over 20 because it's a shock absorber position. And we test it. So it's not a secret. We have developed technologies in the back of technologies, which we reach to this point. And we can hold it. Ban Ling can tell you when the first time our technology was used in China with the Chinese military and security and scientists who were in that meeting, Guang Lin, are you in the background? You can tell when they were asked for dinner.
Yes, they use that for the paint.
Yeah.
And they say even a lot of people smoking in that room, but you didn't feel the smoking. And
You didn't see it.
Yeah, then it's clear air, and even they say they can have the balance like temperature, like even they say in the winter they didn't feel cold, and we had a hot pot there.
Yeah, you can imagine how many 10, 20 high, what you call it, powerful people, all Chinese, all military, all smoking, plus the hot pot, which is a pot which is all of hot water. You cook your own food in it. The steam and the smoke had no effect. You couldn't even smell it. Because the gentleman who organized the dinner, he got up and he said, now you see, you're all smoking and no smell and no odor and no smoke. We were innocently invited to a dinner, and then our technology was shown to the people who are, and that led the company to sell this paint now to the Chinese army. It's used by the military because there's a rule in China, Wan Ling can tell you, products which is used by army can only be manufactured in China. Chinese army doesn't use any outside technologies or materials for their forces. Am I correct? Are you there, Wang Ling?
Yes, like have to be Chinese produced. Yeah.
So when you buy the paint, when you buy these new, we call enhancement units for air or whatever, you can, they're all connected in the structure, because if you paint one wall with one of the gases, the paint, and then you put the air enhancement unit on the other side, you get much bigger effect. Any other question? So the pen material is not secret, it's just development of technologies that we pursue, and we try to make it better each time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have a question from Paulo, who's put it in both the YouTube and in our Q&A here in the Zoom. So I will say it as it is. It's it perhaps has some poetry to it, but let me just say, he says, immutability is in mutality as mutality is in immutability. Please tell us what has been immutable in the divine plan since before creation.
Now, can you ask him to explain what he means?
I think we might have to.
You see, interaction of the fields does not have any pre-plan. Creator never planned to create mankind. Mankind is created out of interaction of accidental interaction of the fields. The same, you can see the example of it. You put an egg and millions of sperms, and one accidentally manages to penetrate, and that accident leads to creation of a new life. What the color of the eye is going to be, what the shape of the lips is going to be, what the hair is going to be, is the coincidence of the interaction of the fields in those two pictures when they came together. there is something very interesting. Maybe we can talk about it now that you're a little bit wiser. The children of the soul will have the feature of the creator. In essence of not physical dimension, but in the presence of the soul. Because they don't take the dimension of the physicality, but they take a dimension of the best fields of the universe. What is to be collective? So we are not connected only to the fields of the man in the DNA, but we are connected to the field of the universe, because the soul is made of it. And I said that very recently, and I emphasize on it because those who don't understand will come to understand even by the position of the souls. And somebody asked me, it's just that you don't explain completely. Adultery become impossible because the fields you have chosen to create that soul have already positioned themselves to the satisfaction of the soul of the both parents. Now, the life of that child becomes so important and so sacrosanct that no man, no woman would make a mistake to endanger that position, because the soul will not allow it. The children of the soul of the creator is not just the soul of the man. They never make mistakes. Even in the dimension of physicality might look this mistake, but when the soul accepts to create that soul of the child, it means everything to do with its existence is already been structured. It's that magnet which is put in, and everything has taken shape and position that it can lead to creation. So, in so many ways, the dimension of the physicality, the pitfalls with dimension of physicality becomes impossible. Man will not make love the way you do physically. You make love with the souls, you make love with the fields. Physical interaction, the way man is used to it, it becomes history, because the beauty of the creation, love making the way God. Do you make love to God? No. But the love of God is with you, and He always shouts. We will love each other as a twin souls in a different way. We create the children of the souls in a different way. And is a commitment for the cycle of the life of not only that soul, but the souls which are created from it in the future as it matures. Has the love of the creator has been any different to your grandfather, your father, to you, or your grandchild? No. And this is what mankind has to understand. Even you might have a desire to be adulterous, your physicality will not take that step because the soul does not allow it. And those who take that step to push it will pay with the loss, the lose of soul, the physical soul from their physicality, because it will not commit that crime. Man will still understand. The soul of physicality will decide to leave the position of the interaction with the physical life, as he will not damage the soul of the man, because he has to find a new position. It's already agreed in the position, because this is the best for the life. And this will come hard to a lot of man thinking way of life. And those who push to create that connection, they will lose the position and the control of the soul of physicality, and then you have the consequences with the dimension of physical life. This is not the fear anymore. This is understanding the process. Thou shalt not commit crime. Not from now on, not in the presence of Mitra. As Mitra is there and his fields and his existence to show to the love to the creator, and it cannot be tainted. We will teach you more about this in the coming time. Let me give you examples. You remember the story of what Christ said? You will deny me 3 times by the time the animal sings. This time that singing comes from the soul of the physicality of the man, and there shall be no betrayal. You will learn the cycle of new life is the same in the space as is in the spirit. We don't have churches and we don't have wedding ceremonies. But the souls commit themselves in that direction and dimension. Those who try to betray the faith by themselves in the dimension of the soul. And then what happens to physicality is in the soul. Any other question?
Yes, indeed. We have several more. You have a thing from Antonio who mentions he's now using the enhancement pain pen and has found the results on my trigger finger has improved 100%, where I'm not in pain now. Thank you again. And he has a question.
Can we send a bill for the effect? Now we sold the material.
It's an interesting question, actually.
That payment comes through the soul. When you bless and you thank, you're already given from your soul for elevation of the knowledge. So there is no second bill. You remember the old song? The boy says, Mama cleaned my room, $1, I did this, $2. And at the end it says the total is $11, I think. And the mother says, I cleaned you, I taught you, I stay many nights awake. My bill for you is nothing, just love.
So, and Antonio does mention Professor Keshe. This is great news to see the manufacturing set up in China. Looking forward to the breakthrough of this beautiful technology into the mainstream. Thank you so much for the hard work, and to Wanyan in China. Then he does have a question. He says, is each magnetical ray emanating from one plasma of a different strength? Is each magnetical ray emanating from one plasma of a different strength? He says, why I'm asking is that the entire universe can be reached from one small plasma, and would this mean it is within itself a combination of everything?
More or less, yes. Because it's connected to a source which has all of it. And itself in that spectrum and the position is always in balance with the source. It just depends what the strength of the gravity and what the strength of magnetic field it has in respect to the source. But in total, the balance is always the same.
He says he will give a donation. Thank you. Fried mentions, dear Mr. Keshe, you hid certain secrets in the books. How is this then kept in translations in other languages?
I always said, you have to understand what I said, what I'm saying. First of all, English is not my first language. And secondly, if you really want to understand the true essence, the way I wrote, read book edition number 1. Book edition number 2 is adjusted for English people to understand by editor. The pure original is the edition one and edition one in all three books before being touched by the editor. But I always said, even is translated the wrong way, and even is written in the wrong way as an English language, because it's not my mother language in a way, even I lived in England for so many years. The knowledge you receive and what you gather from it and how you use it is that knowledge which is put for the soul of you to be able to understand it. As I said, even if you told somehow to make the nano coating the wrong way, there's a reason for it, because through that you achieve what you want. There's no ever wrong thing in the world of the creation. It's just what you expect from it and what you want to achieve. And even you achieve and you don't see it, you say it's wrong, but in fact, actually, you've got the right idea. The soul has reached its maturity of understanding that point. So it doesn't matter. It's really translated into Spanish, and instead of saying right, it says left, because in the Spanish, left, right is the left or the right. But when you read it, your soul understands the knowledge. This is the knowledge of the creation, not a book written as a, what do you call it? A transfer of what I call some words. Any other questions?
Okay, yes. See here. We have Marinez with a hand up. Go ahead, Marinez.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Hello, knowledge seekers all over the world. I congratulate you for, again, having more step toward world peace instead in exchange with technology. And I'm happy that you are glad about that. And I bless all the Chinese knowledge seekers, the Chinese people who accepted this safe place for technology, and which this old country has contributed in philosophical way and their way of life to humanity, hard work people. And I bless everybody in the whole village of the earth, any color, any race, any nation, any religion that contributes to peace on earth, and especially the technology in exchange for peace. I give all my blessing to them, and especially to you from my heart. And my question, I have a question. First of all, thank you for this beautiful, delicious teaching. And I hope that's a step towards teaching people, all of us in the same boat, to see beyond the material limits and understand that between what's not visible and what's visible, there's still life going on, and we can go further to realize by thinking about what you said and feeling the feels. And the question I have is, I didn't write my question, but I was in the park. I think you said that wherever we are in each position, we can get in touch with that place we want to be or to contact. And I wanted to ask, did you mean by our emotional force fields, by our soul fields, both of them? Because there is a nuance, it's a small difference how could I contact another planet, my father? So I have some experience about that, but is it by my emotion or by my soul?
Now you're an old hand in Keshe Foundation. How does the emotion, how is emotion created? Emotion is created from interaction of the field of the soul of the man.
Yes.
With the soul of physicality, so you answer yourself.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You're welcome. It's very interesting. Sometimes now, and some 30, 40 years ago, when we walk in the street, we used to see people who talking to themselves. They used to laugh, they used to shout sometimes. We used to call them crazy. They're talking to themselves. But the interesting thing is, with this new technology of mobile phone, you all become crazy. You all have this hidden earphones in your pocket, in your ear, and you're passing and you say, oh my God, oh, and they laugh and they talk. They say the guy's crazy, he's talking to himself. And then you look, oh, it's become normal for all of us to be crazy, because now we carry the soul of the phone in our ears. Have we become schizophrenic or now we have started listening to another voice, which is real? And now mankind has to listen to the real voice of the soul of the man inside him, not the earpiece in his ear. And this is what the teachings are. And then when you walk in the park and you suddenly have no earphone and you laugh, or you remember who walked this park, or is what you wanted to tell to your son, but it's not there, but you tell him a joke and he laughs and it makes you to smile, and you hear what he answers you, because now, have you ever thought for a second, you're walking and you talk to, or you think about telling somebody something, and then you imagine the answer, and then you answer to that the question, or they have another question, you answer, oh, he asked me this, I'm going to tell him that. But did you ask yourself a question that what he was going to ask? Or is it his soul in touch with your soul? He puts the question to you that you came up with the answer. So, in fact, what we call the dream, and now we give question and answers, or we solve a problem with somebody who's not present. Is it us who's doing the thinking, or is it our soul in touch with their soul solving the problem inside your brain? And you feel differently, or you show different emotion of laughter. Oh, he tells you a joke, or oh, you're a stupid man, this doesn't work that way. But there's nobody with you. Where did the knowledge come from? Where did the question come from? Is it the creation of your brain? Or is it the question, the interaction of your soul with his soul, where he asks you a question and you answer it? And oh, I found the solution. Does he have to be present? Or like the way you dream, you see the image, you hear the voice. But now is what we think we're talking to our son or to our friend who's in another country or is at home. I go home and I tell him this is done wrong. And then you ask question, how did they do wrong? What did I do wrong? You prepare all the answer and questions. Other questions put by his soul to your soul, and you answer him. And with it, you find a solution, or you find to dictate to get a position, make a position for yourself when you get home to your son or to your wife. Next time, when you think, or you carry an emotion, or you're answering somebody's question, or what it might be done, ask yourself one question. Is it the soul who's putting the question to me as I directed my attention towards it? Or is it the creation of my own imagination of the question? I'll tell you one thing, when a man knowledgeable become knowledgeable enough, they'll find out you were talking to the soul. This is what is part of the process of the understanding of the new science, the science of creation. How come you call the other ones behind the dream? Now you speak to the soul directly and you get your answers, and it's not a dream anymore. Because you think it was you. Well, in fact, it's not you anymore. You do not exist.
Thank you for this knowledge. And another question is, if you permit, like we were talking yesterday with knowledge seekers, when there is a question of detachment, I feel there is a gap between detachment and the fear of what is going on after. And we don't.
Why do you have a fear with detachment?
Because they think they have to give it all away, like Jesus said. And I told them it's a question of having the money doesn't matter. We can have all the money, but as you said, we don't depend on that. We don't trust on that. We don't put all the force and aspiration on that. And we say we can do what we want with our hands, create what we want as riches, and put this trust on emotion and soul, which gives us much more in power and field and creation and liberate us. So we lose here, but we gain in power and liberty and joy. I think this teaching of today was a bridge for this matter, I think, to start thinking. And if you, yes. If you permit the last one, in the day before yesterday, again in another teaching, at the end I talked about the earth, which is suffering from whatever is going on the surface. If we imagine that the earth is a plasma, and the plasma has emotion, has soul, as we have seen with the plants. So the earth is related with the plasma emotion of individuals, the souls of people on the surface, the animals and plants on the surface. So if the people have bad emotion, are sad, are crying, are not in a good, happy way, so the earth emotion has to be affected by that, or maybe the soul of the sun or the moon. So this soul, this emotion of the earth, would that erupt and react to this non-satisfaction and hunger of a non-satisfaction of its emotion. And that's what we say, there are catastrophes at the judgment day or whatever in the whatever.
Maybe I can answer you in a different way. We don't see Earth moving and jumping and moving and changing direction, or going slower or going faster. Doesn't matter if we had the Second World War, millions of people were dying, or we had the peaceful time of the Emperor of Persia, where every nation was at peace, more or less. In the average, well, not the average, but the collective average sense of the emotion of the life on this planet, is always in balance. It's us who brings certain emotions, and it's us who brings certain directions. In in so many ways, in totality, the emotion of the ant, the dog, the man, the trees, always are in balance when it comes to the field balance of the emotion of the heartbeat of the planet, because we are created out of that heartbeat. And in so many ways, if we introduce another heartbeat to it, we'll create a different condition and different position. So the soul of this planet does not change because somebody is in pain, because the totality of all affects that position and dimension. And I used to explain this in a very simple way, that people used to do the rain dance, and they used to sacrifice a virgin to end the droughts and everything. Did it happen actually with a dance, or did it happen because of the soul of the sacrifice entity reached the point that brought the emotion of the people who did the sacrification? And this is very touchy, very amazing if you've done a lot of tests with the dynamic reactors. And then you understand the energy stands always total balance. The conservation of magnetic fields is very much the same as conservation of the energy. It's just that which constants and which bits of it you want to ignore, that only elevates what you want to prove. Assumptions. And we see many scientists, their work is all an assumption, because they want to prove one thing, that they are correct on their thought of it. Everything else doesn't exist. The equation of relativity is one of them. The speed of light, M is called C is called what we call the speed of light, is another assumption. When Einstein started it, it was so big, but he wanted to connect the energy to speed of light. And he made a lot of assumptions, and he took all those, everything which could change to this simple equation is all ignored, and that's why half of the science has gone wrong. E equal mc squared was, if you look at it when he started it, was a very long equation. He just said, ignore assumption, assume this, assume that, to get to this point. The guy should have said, well, this is what I'm going to say, and that's it. It's for you to make assumptions. And this is the way we teach. We give you all the facts, now you go and make your own assumptions, how it fits you.
Yes, thank you for this. And the last one, but now that you're talking about the animals, like if we assume that a grain, I don't want to talk the animals because we know they have soul, and that we eat. And if we imagine that a grain of rice or wheat has a soul, and then we fabricate
We don't
it.
need to imagine, it has.
No, of course, we know. And it has a soul, and we eat it. Does it, and we know everything comes from the light and everything from the source and goes back to the source. So this also goes back. What I wanted to ask is, as it's the custom, it used to be a custom that people prayed for this grain we eat, thank it. Does it help to have the soul of that grain to go to the source with a happy residues of his souls, and also for the animals, like praying for them, like giving from our heart and soul. Thank them, to wish them the happy life, happy existing, and love to accompany this sacrifice food in exchange for our profit, to get energy from them while we are waiting to have the plasma food, the plasma technology food, not killing anything.
We pray for becoming close or to reach to what, thank God or the Creator for what He gives us. We pray to the animals that we slaughter, as you've been to the Islamic slaughterhouses and the Jewish one. There is a tape continuously saying the prayer of, slaughter, whatever. But if it was a man saying it, we pray to it the true way, not by the microphone or by the speaker. Does that bring to the point that when we take a spoon of rice and there are 200 grains in it, we pray for every single grain? I think we spend all our life praying and thanking the souls. By the time we are 80, before we thank enough the whole plate of rice we eat. And the reality is we have to be thankful or prayerful to the totality of what this planet gives us and understand it, and what comes from the field of the universe to create and sustain life on this planet. Then do we pray for a soul of one lamb when we slaughter it, or do we pray for every soul of grain we chew? Eating, killing, the separation of the soul of physicality and soul of any entity from each other by what we call separation of the two, or by death, unless it's done naturally, is forbidden. Man shall not eat anymore to destroy the soul of the grain, as much as man shall not eat to kill an animal who has one soul, collective soul, for the presentation of his life. This is whole part of the work of the new technology. When we go to the understanding of traveling the depth of this universe with the speed of man, we cannot take all the camels, all the kettles, and all the cutlery. Man has to learn to eat with the, what I call, fields of his soul, and what is available, which is plenty in the space. And then we don't kill. We don't need to say in prayer, because it comes from the strength of the field of the universe and the Creator. Shall we call it a day? Thank you very much. Do you have anything more in the background?
I was hoping you might put a quick word in for Bente about the topic of dilution, of plasma dilution, and how do you dilute a plasma as a, especially in terms of the initial fundamental plasma that might be magnetically diluted and softened, as you mentioned before.
This is part of the teaching to come. We don't dilute the plasma. You open the plasma.
Is that the dilution process? Is that opening? Is that what's meant?
We call
word?
yes. I think somewhere we refer to the spring in the clock. The spring is still a spring, but it depends how much you tighten it and what energy you store in it, and to what level do you want to open at the spring.
Now, it occurred to me just a few minutes ago that perhaps that dilution factor is equal to detachment in a way, because
Not really.
when we detach, we open up. We feel like we're opening up because we let go of whatever emotional problem or situation.
Okay.
Isn't that a dilution when you feel that opening, that release of?
Okay, let me explain it in a material world. You put a spoon of sugar in a cup of tea. It gets diluted. If you, before you put the sugar in, half the amount of the water and still put the same amount of sugar in it, will it taste sweeter? Or in reality, is it sweet without measuring the level of sweetness?
Right.
You understand? If you get a spring of a clock, which always explains the same as the plasma, how much you tighten that spring, it gives you the energy stored. Does it actually change the structure of the spring? These are the fundamental points when you speak about dilution. In the plasma physics, we don't dilute. We create a condition for different strength of the field of the same entity to manifest itself. Plasma does not have a water to dilute it, does not have the sweetness to taste the sugar of it, the extent of the sugar in it. It has a field strength, which is the point of its interaction. So dilution does not exist. Creating the field strength that the fields within the structure manifests itself to satisfaction of the observer. That's what you call dilution in plasma physics.
Okay, thank you very much for that bonus question there. Bonus answer.
Bonus answer. Thank you very much for today. I hope we brought you in good news today. We brought the start of another point of evolution. As I said, the international operation of the Keshe Foundation is in the hand of the knowledge seekers in different shape or form. And in so many ways, as I explained in another teaching, if you want to keep us away from the hand of the governments that dictate to us that we can spread the knowledge and how we spread the knowledge, now you see in this position in China, we need donations to set this company up, to equip it, to keep everything else with it going. I have financed for a long time. I keep on financing it, but it needs huge amount of effort from the knowledge seekers, both financially and physically, and especially Chinese and the knowledge seekers who want to see their idea to be developed into practical ways that can help the other people. So we request from the Keshe Foundation knowledge seekers worldwide, become philanthropists by your time, by your research, that we can develop what you have researched. You don't need to be in China, or financially to be able to do the last step in creating these kind of facilities to become operational. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the Chinese team for all the hard effort and work. And finally, bringing this home. Thanks the same with the other knowledge seekers around the world who are working the same way. We all work on our own ways and our own deeds. And hopefully we'll see a new horizon for the foundation time. Thank you very much, Rick. Thank you very much, Dean. And hopefully we meet each other for 382nd time next week.
Mr. Keshe, may I interject one more quick thing here? We're talking about these international places for people to meet, for scientists to meet, and for various countries to take their roles in this way for international peace and for developing the technology. It's my wish that Canada would be able to contribute to that, because Canada is often in the middle of these kind of deals to help negotiate, and there's a lot of Iranians in Canada, there's a lot of Americans in Canada, there's a lot of people from all over the world in Canada. So I wanted to show my idea of a grandiose way, a facility for that could be possibly built at some point, in my mind at least. And I just wanted to show what it would look like if that was to manifest according to my dreams. So here's the facility that I would like to see nearby on the island that I live on in Canada, Western Canada. And this would be the Keshe Foundation Canada headquarters, as well as a plasma research and development facility. And this would overlook the Juan de Fuca Strait, which is where the Olympic Mountains of Washington State in the USA. And it would be a beacon for peace for the world to see, and possibly even visible from space. So that's my dream. I just wanted to interject it here. I don't know how that works out, but you never know.
We got to realize gradually, as we are merging in different countries, the way I see it will be politely welcomed, but in the other hand, directly put in the places where they see the national interest and where we can build things, where we can be. I see the way we're going in next 12 months, next 2 or 3 years, new legislation will come through different parliaments around the world in respect the use of the technology, the guns, the space, and everything else. And these are inevitable. The governments will take steps to secure their national interests in different structures, buildings, and places and positions. And so we can all submit these kind of ideas, and hopefully we'll see how we will develop this to accomplish. It's a very nice design. It's got a helicopter pad I can see, maybe UFO pad on the right hand side. But
yes,
but in general, I see the way now we're going with Iran, we're going with China, and we hopefully see developments in a couple of other places in the world, with our television channel coming up, and it's building up very slowly. But governments will take actions, and how limitation will come in. Do we still need glasses? Do we still need concretes the way you have? Do we need lighting system? All becomes part of the solution for total help, to help humanity. And it's nice to have structures like this that people can relate to.
Yes, it could have all the products of the Keshe Foundation store and so on, demonstrating and and on display as an inspiration for those that come to find out about what the technology looks like and what it's about. And I would have greenhouses and other research structures around as well as part of the facility, let's say.
Thank you very much. As the guy says, thank you very much for today, and I hope we meet again next week. And another place, another position, and another time. Maybe we have some more news for you in development. But please, Chinese Keshe Foundation, please inform the Chinese community that we meet next Friday at the time which is appropriate for the Chinese. It is 12 o'clock on Friday, which is 6 o'clock Beijing time, or 2 o'clock, which is 8 o'clock Beijing time on Friday. We meet for the Chinese community to start manning, employing, and bringing people that this structure we have just signed to become operational very rapidly. Thank you very much, Ulrich. Thank you very much, Dean, and everyone in the background who have made these teachings possible.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Keshe. It seems like a milestone for you and the Keshe Foundation today, so that's great.
Thank you very much. You will see beautiful structures which now is getting set for Keshe Foundation in Tehran, in Iran. This is the beginning of it, and some of the knowledge seekers, as I said, already privy to what is happening, and you will see the two new space centers by my return to Iran. It's getting set up when we return back to Iran. We give a new meaning to space travel. And it'll not only Iranians, but the whole world scientists, but we have to find a place where the knowledge of the leaders is the same as the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation, supporting peace and evolution in technology. And it happened to be Iran. And we thank the Office of Samin Khamenei of Iran, leading Iran to the edge of science with promoting new technologies, be it from nuclear to space, pharmaceuticals to nanotechnology. You got to understand the wisdom of His Eminence Khamenei of Iran has brought Iran to the positions today, and no one else. As we have seen many presidents who have sold Iran to every nation on this planet for a few dollars in their bank account. Thank you very much for today, and we meet hopefully very soon.
Okay, excellent, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much for delivering today's workshop. Those who still have some questions left over, just bring them into the next Knowledge Seekers workshop. Should be same time and place next week, hopefully, and expectedly. Sorry for the inconvenience with the date was incorrect through part of the workshop there, and some people were concerned about that, but it is a live workshop and it wasn't recorded, and it is Thursday, May 20th, 2021 today. Thank you everybody for attending today's 381st Knowledge Seekers workshop. We also do have the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace coming up as usual on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central European time as usual. So look forward to that. And I think that's it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you next time around. Thank you so much, Mr. Keshe. Bye for now.
innovative, revolutionary, stellar development, purest universal knowledge in a transformative, futuristic design. The Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit. The very first new evolutionary spaceship technology has been rolled out for mass production. Our Universal Body Enhancement Spaceship Unit is constructed from high-quality materials carefully selected by our team of experts. Embedding the essence of the new GAN's plasma science and technology, it uses collective plasma field technology for changing and enhancing the environment of the body of the man. This new plasma enhancement changes the environment of the body to allow it to return to its natural, balanced, energetic condition, as in the womb of the mother, allowing every cell in the body of the man to find its natural, original field strength balance. The shape and field distribution in this new space plasma technology replicates the inner structure of the universe and replicates the balanced fields from which the man was created at the point of inception in the womb of the mother, not only receiving balance in the physical, but also in the emotional sense too. For the first time in the history of man, a system has been developed and delivered, which not only enhances the physical body of the man, but also enhances the emotional part of the user of the system, hence reducing and eliminating many problems that could not be solved in the world of science, to bring the body of the man into near perfection, as at the time of birth. This new spaceship technology can be within the reach of every man today and can be ordered by medical practitioners, sports specialists, and healthcare centers. The Universal Enhancement Spaceship Unit, the future you have been waiting for, is here. The journey from space to spaceship technology has started. Every order is subject to a contractual agreement and might require additional accessories priced separately for applications according to each case. You can order or contact us at office@at.kfm.global for additional information. Hello. We are the Keshe Foundation. Our mission is to bring peace on Earth and join humanity with the universal community. We wish and work to bring man as equal to all beings in the universe. By teaching plasma science and technology equally to everyone, no one is left out and no one is abused due to lack of knowledge. By donating to us, you can help achieve this goal. KesheFoundation.org/donate.